Hello and welcome to the United Stand. Lots to get through tonight. I'm going to whiz through it. We'll have the Paul Pogba latest, and there is some new news. We'll have Fellaini staying. We'll have Mata staying. We'll have the Wigan squad, which is actually different to the one I've done on my preview. I'm not happy about a couple of things on that. And also centre-back. Mourinho wants a centre-back. We're going to discuss what centre-back we'd want. I am joined by Alex. We're going to fly straight into it. But what I would say is, if you're new to the United Stand, if you're old, you know we say it how it is. And actually, I'm not happy about a couple of things tonight. I'm very happy that we've got Jose Mourinho. I'm very happy where we're going. But I'm personally, and this channel never will be, something that's just, like or dislike. There's always two sides to the story. And there's a couple of things that I'm not happy about tonight. Hi to Dave Poulton. Shout out for Simran. Yes. The Fellaini thing bothers me massively. It's reported in the Daily Mail. There might be nothing in it. I'm going to go to Alex straight away about this. But somebody's on about the 30,000 subscribers. We may well hit it on air. I will keep you updated. We may well hit 30,000 subscribers live on air, which would be fantastic. So just share the videos, like, tweet. Let's try and hit it while we're on air because it'd be great and there's a little treat for you. But Fellaini, bring the mood down. Fellaini is apparently going to stay. Mourinho wants to give him a chance, etc., etc. Alex, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I saw that about Mata and Fellaini. It's the Daily Mail, so you have to take it with a pinch of salt in the first place. But Fellaini, I'm not necessarily 100% against him going. I'm 100% against him starting, but Mourinho always starts the same starting 11, it seems, every single season. So I think Fellaini does have his uses of just coming off the bench, like if we need to just pump balls into the box, etc., in like the last few minutes. But as a starter, definitely not. But I don't think he will be a starter under Mourinho. If it gets to that Bournemouth game and he's starting, then I'll really start to worry, because as I say, Mourinho tends to stick with the same starting 11 throughout a season. So I don't know. I mean, if he did leave and we got a decent amount of money for him, I wouldn't like lose any sleep. I prefer him to not be like a United player. I prefer us not to sign him, but it just depends. I don't think we're going to get like any decent amount of money for him, and I don't think he'll be a regular anyway, so I'm not too worried about it.
We're 4 off 30,000 subscribers, just to let people know. D Ghost says Fellaini, I went to somewhere else there. Fellaini might be a last 10-minute man for long ball, header and goal. Yeah, you know what? I wouldn't even have him as that. I'd get rid of him. I've been consistent for 2 years. I've told you I'll dab if we get rid of him. I'll do anything. Somebody said, will you dab if you win the league? I'll run around the Etihad naked if we win the league, although nobody will be there, so it won't matter. But yeah, Fellaini for me, I'll tell you, I tweeted it today. Mourinho has every right not to listen to the fans and make his own roundup about Fellaini, but he'll waste 2 months doing it because he's shit. And also, Fellaini, you can't polish a turd. He's crap. He's been crap for 3 years. Every now and again, he scores a goal and people go, oh, you're wrong, Mark. You're wrong about Fellaini. I'm not wrong. He's consistently crap. He's not a Manchester United player. It's never been personal. What winds me up is every time he puts a Man United shirt on. I don't like him. I don't like the way he plays. I don't like him the way he plays is what I mean. And I want him gone. I think he'll stay. I did say that. I said I think he'll stay.
And he's been made worse with his new bright blonde afro. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, what's with these bright blonde afros? Jones has got one as well. What is it? Crap United players. Let's all have the same hair. Aaron Ramsey. He's not a United player in his dreams. But no, I want him to go. I think the best thing that can happen, he can go. And actually, people always say, oh, we need him for his height. It's such a myth. Luke Shaw's 6'1". Our whole back four now we've got Bay is big. You've got Schneidlin who's big. You've got Zlatan who's big. We don't need him for height anymore. We never should have been doing that anyway. But I tell you what, as much as I love Mourinho, I don't think he's stupid, and I can't see. And Alex was saying this on the private chat we have amongst the United Stand people, that where does Fellaini fit into that squad? He, you know, even before we signed anybody, where does he fit in? The best he can hope for is a place on the bench where, you know what, if in the last 2 minutes we need somebody to come and hit the ball at, then maybe we bring him on. But if he starts for us, I'll say it time and time again, you start Fellaini and Daley Blind in a Manchester United 11, you won't win the league. It's not even being horrible to them. You won't win the league. I would argue with Fellaini that you won't get. I don't think any. I mean, before we move on, and I want to move on because I'm getting more wound up, and these days are meant to be gone. Alex, name me a team in the top 10 that would actually have Fellaini in their first team. Seriously. Let's think about it. Chelsea, no. Arsenal, no. Liverpool, no. Everton, no. Oh, Everton, no. Well, they've got a new manager. Maybe they would, but certainly Leicester wouldn't. None of the title contenders would. I said it last year. I think the only team that would have him is Sunderland, and they won't now because Big Sam's going to England.
Yeah, maybe the only thing, like in the top 10, I was thinking possibly West Ham to just have Payet just launch it onto his head, but probably not even them, to be honest, because he isn't really that good with his feet or anything. He's just like he's the best in the world at chest control. I think no one comes close to him at chest control. But aside from that, he hasn't really got anything else in his locker.
Alex, I don't know whether you can dab. I actually can't dab, and I'm saving my dab for something else. But we have hit 30,000 subscribers on air, which is fantastic to do it. I am going to take a few seconds out just to say thanks to all of you lot. Massively humbled by what this channel does. I'm very bad at self-gratification, unless it's in front of you, Paul. And I always move on. I don't hang back. I'm absolutely ecstatic we've got 30,000, but for me, it's gone. We go for next. We go on to something else. I just want this channel to be as big as it can, and it's always been about fan opinion, saying it how it is, getting our voice louder and louder, because I just think football in general is full of ex-pros who are lining their pockets. It's full of media companies who just want to take our money off us. And the United Stand's not about that. It was actually a gap in the market where it was about fans having their say. And the fact that it is so popular is really, really, it's great. It's absolutely great. And I just think personally, I just popped into my head there. I think how Alex, you got involved in the show. Literally, we had nobody on a Sunday, and it was like we did a little quiz and a little contest, and he came on. And I think back to when I very first started and the crap we were getting. You know, we were getting hardly 20 people watching. We didn't have 50 subscribers. People were telling us we were shit. Bigger accounts, and to do it is great. And all I can see is dab. So Alex, if you can dab, go for it, mate, because I don't even know how. The camera's on you, sir.
I think it's something like that.
All right. Yes, that's quite good. But Alex, you've been a part of it. Anything you want to say before we move on to football stuff?
I just remember it was like a show back on it must have been a Sunday show, like in May 10th of, I guess it was last year, it must have been, with Anna presenting and you on it and me on it, and there might have been someone else, or it might have been Martin actually, I guess, back then, and it was on my birthday. That's how I remember the exact date, and that was the first time we remember we were kept on promoting, saying, "Oh, come on, we want to hit 100 live viewers and everything," and now we quite often get, like the last Monday show we did, we had over 1,000, so it's just so crazy how big it's grown in such a short amount of time. Like when I first joined, I don't think we even had 1,000 subscribers. So 29,000 subscribers later, it's just crazy.
It is, and I'm going to move on quick because we move on. But it's all down to you lot. It is down to you lot. If you don't watch it, tell your mates, comment or anything like that. It doesn't happen. And we could do it on our own, but we can't do it without you. So superb. Absolutely brilliant. Really happy about that. Whack, let's get on. Let's go again. Let's go for 100,000. Football-wise, Pogba. A few of you commenting on there about Higuain. I tweeted this out just before we came on air. I said, Juventus were broke last week, and suddenly they're going for Higuain for 70 million, which is brilliant because it annoys Arsenal fans. So we're all for that. And I do like Juventus. I've got nothing against them. But then people were saying, "Oh, they're not broke. They're not broke." But they're not broke, but there's not a lot of money in Italian football. There's certainly not enough money for them to go and spend 70 million euros on Higuain. And also, I think they've bought Benicia. I've said this, Alex. I don't know where you are because we haven't spoken for a few days, but I said last night I'm 99.9% sure Pogba's going to sign for Manchester United. I can't get any closer than 100%. You can never be 100% in life, but I'm convinced it's going to happen. And I think more and more things are falling into place.
That Richard Keys guy, I don't know how knowledgeable he is with when it comes to transfer stories, but I think beIN Sport have actually got an all right track record. And someone asked him, what are the chances of Pogba coming to Man United out of 10? And he just replied saying 10. But I think it's kind of like turning into a saga with like how long it's going on. But I guess after the Euros, it was always going to pick up steam. He was given like at the ESPY Awards yesterday, I think it was. He was given a United shirt and said, "Oh, how do you describe this?" And he's like, "Oh, my first family." And then he's like, given a Juventus shirt, "Oh, how do you describe this? My family." So then people were like doing like loads of speculation. He's like, he doesn't know about his future, yada yada yada. But if that is true about the Higuain, I saw people saying about Juventus wanted to sign Higuain, but I didn't see the figure. But if it is 70 million, then yeah, they definitely don't have that. But then the possibility away from that would be, like you mentioned, they're signing Benatia, so it could be that they've sold Bonucci to City for that 50 million that was rumoured. So that is just another possibility. But I do hope it's Pogba. They signed Pjanic at the start of the window, so that could be another like person in their midfield that as a safeguard for if they were to replace Pogba. So I think they have the measures in place that if they were to lose Pogba, then it could happen. But that Manola guy, however you pronounce his name, was saying about how we have to sell Pogba on the project, which is like when City got taken over and when PSG got taken over, they gave their project on how much money they're pumping into the club and where they want to go with it. And I think that's what we're, under Jose Mourinho and all this money coming in and that we're spending, I think we are trying to build a project that will attract the top players. So I think we have got a good chance of signing him.
Yeah, I understand the negativity, because it's almost like, you know, some fans don't want to believe it. Dylan Sheridan says, what about the LA restaurant there? Sort of happened when we were on air last night. I don't read much into that. I mean, this Bobby Chin, isn't it? And he had a photograph with Pogba and said he's coming to United. I'd read more.
Let me just cut you off. Sorry. He clarified that today, saying that apparently that him and Pogba and Zlatan were at the same restaurant, like their families together, and they were eating together. And then he got his picture with them. He said he's a Liverpool fan, but he said he shouldn't have started the rumour saying that he's United bound. He's like, he just thinks that he is United bound. He didn't say anything about his club, but he said it would be a bit strange that Zlatan and Pogba were eating together. But then again, Zlatan was in the area. I don't know, because Pogba was at the ESPY Awards, as I touched on earlier, but I don't know where they were, if it was in LA or if it was in Nevada or whatever, because Zlatan was at UFC 200 in Las Vegas. So they're both in America. So maybe it's like, do you remember last summer there was the pictures of Pogba, Memphis and Lukaku and everyone was creating stories. So it's probably nothing, but.
Yeah, I do like the new kit. Somebody just said there, what do I think of the new kit? I do quite like the red kit, which is out. I think with Pogba, I understand why people are a bit negative about it. Maybe, you know, hoping they don't want to believe it too much. I believed it for a long time. It was over a week ago now that somebody was saying that the club are very much working towards this deal being done. He's obviously had to go over to LA. If you're asking me when I think the deal was going to be done, I think it will be done before we go to China, because that's 2 weeks out. I think it'll be done before Monday, which is exciting that we might be announcing it before then. We don't mess around under Mourinho. I know that's all foreign to us, but it's likely to happen. I mean, Pogba's comments himself at the awards last night, it wasn't one quote. Some people are tweeting it out as one quote, but it was essentially two things, where he said, Manchester United was my first family, and then he was asked about Mourinho, and he basically said, you know, we'll have to see. He could kill it. He could kill it dead if it wasn't going to happen. And I think when agents and players don't kill it dead, then we'll have to just wait. It's going to happen. I think it's going to happen. I am really confident it's going to happen. I want it to happen. I'm not one of those fans who's moaning about the £100 million. I think we've discussed this before when Alex was last on. We're paying that premium because we're not in the Champions League and we can't pay a fair price, because Madrid would be in there like a fly around shit. They'd be like, if we offered the fair 60 million, Madrid would come in and offer it. We've done a fantastic thing. We've actually used the money we've been bloody saving up for years and never spent, and we've gone 100 million. No one can deal with us, and take it or leave it. And no one can deal with us, and that's great. But I'm just picking up on what Alex said there about Bonucci going to Man City. One, I think it's a massive mistake. Name me a centre-back, Italian centre-back that's come to the Premier League and done well. There's a reason for that. And two, I don't think he'll leave Juventus. I don't think Juventus would want to lose Bonucci. And three, even if he was going, and even if City were going to pay £50 million for him, as Alex said, they've signed Pjanic, they're signing Benatia. That would more or less cover the Bonucci money. Where are they getting the 75 million to go after Higuain? For me, Higuain, and if they sign him, it just stinks. Paul Pogba's leaving and coming to Manchester United, which is brilliant. Where did you see the new home kit, says Lee Bailey? It's on our Twitter at United Stand MUFC. I think it's like 2 tweets ago. You can see it on there. There's basically been an image released in Hong Kong of Ashley Young in a top. And then there was one, I think Alex sent it to me probably about 3 weeks ago from a certain website, and it's the same top. So we've put both pictures up there. Mark, what are you most excited about to see next season in a United shirt? Nolan. Mark, what player are you most excited to see next season in a United shirt? Zlatan. I think he's just. I think we're only gonna get a year from him, but he is gonna be a legend. He is a legend. I was getting a haircut obviously the other day. Hairdresser is not a Manchester United fan. We were talking about Manchester United, and he said you don't appreciate what you've got in Zlatan because he's never played in the Premier League before, and he is absolutely a world star. People love him. Manchester United will make so much of him. And he said, I used to turn French football on, and if he was playing, I'd watch the game just for him. If he wasn't picked or injured, I wouldn't watch it. And I think I'm so excited, but it gives me sort of goosebumps in a way because he is an absolute enigma, and I can't wait for him. I mean, we've got Mkhitaryan. I think he's great, Alex. Forget Pogba, I think he's great. But I think what Zlatan's going to do, very important for Rooney, is he's going to take hold of that team, and we need that.
Yeah, that's the thing. I would have given the exact same answer as you. It's like he might not have the necessarily playing impact that the likes of a Pogba or Mkhitaryan is, but he's a bigger name. He's like, after Messi and Ronaldo, he's probably the biggest name in football at the moment. I'm just so excited to see him in the team and to walk out that first time. And I think a lot of people are like writing him off because of his age and stuff. We've discussed it time and time again on the show. He's never been about speed. He already, at such an old age, like everyone's saying, he broke Man United's power record in his medical. Like his power was off the charts. I don't know how they measure that, but it's some strength thing. But yeah, I'm really looking forward just to the season in general, all our signings. I'm interested to see over the tour, although you can't really judge players off tour, how Bay does. And especially in the Leicester game, I think would be a good indication of that with all our new signings. But yeah, just roll on. I'm happy we got all our transfer business done early, early-ish, we're still doing it. But with Van Gaal, like, I know he was our best player and stuff. But we signed Martial literally when the season had already started, which was just ridiculous. But one thing I wanted to touch upon, I was thinking about it earlier, is that people keep coming to say to me, "Oh, I don't want Pogba because United isn't his first choice. He doesn't want to be here, yada yada yada." But what I reply to them with, and I don't know how you think about it, is that De Gea didn't want to be at United last summer when he was on the transfer list out to Real Madrid. Yet he was our best player. So you don't have to, like, players nowadays, people say, oh, they go for the money, they go for the money. There's very little loyalty left in football in general. So just because United wouldn't be his first choice, and I wouldn't blame him for wanting to go to Real Madrid or Barcelona over United at the moment, because we're not where we once were and where we're aiming to get back to. But it doesn't mean that he's going to not play just because he's come here for money.
No, sorry, I would agree with that. I am speaking now. I haven't muted it. Yeah, so no, I'd agree with you. I've got no problem with anybody coming to our club. I just think, but I do agree with you on that. I think there's very few football. When I grew up watching football, Roy Keane's and people like that, they actually, got run through walls for the club. There's very few players like that now. And if people want to say Wayne Rooney's like that, he isn't. There are very few players, even at United now, who are like that. It's all about getting the best players. There's a good comment here. I don't know how true it is. Ryu20's basically said, Mark, please read, at Fabrizio Romano, Juventus has agreement with Higuain for contract until 2020. Now Juve will contact Napoli and will try to find an agreement. How similar does that sound to Manchester United a week ago, where we had an agreement with Pogba and then we've got to go and speak to Juventus about it? But it's going to happen. And Zlatan, thanks for that question. It wasn't on the agenda, but it came up very well. Somebody asking about Zara. She's still part of the United stand. She's got internet problems. She's moved house and it's not reliable enough for a live stream at the moment, but she's working hard on it, so she will be there. The next thing I want to talk about is... yeah, we'll do this because we're doing a watch-along on Saturday, obviously, for the Wigan game. Join us for that. It's going to be fantastic. Any more of Manolas, says Graham Glass. We'll be talking to him in a minute. I nearly went to that topic, but we're doing this one first. Yeah, so we're playing Wigan Saturday, 1:30. There's a preview up back in the studio of me with how I'd line things up. And I'm not happy. I'm really not happy because Pereira's not part of the squad. Borthwick Jackson's not part of the squad, so they're not going to play. And my whole angle on my video was, this is I didn't even play Bailly because I thought, keep Bailly back until after until we go to China.
Training though.
Well, there's a squad.
I didn't see.
Yeah, no, I wasn't aware until an hour ago. I've checked it. There is a squad, and Pereira's not in it, and Borthwick Jackson's not in it. But I'd said keep Bailly back to the China tour, because this game is the one game really where some of the young players can get some games, because everyone will be back from the Euros next week, and then what chance have they got? But this just shows how big our squad is and what a big job Mourinho's got, because we've got so many oxygen wasters in our team taking up spaces that Pereira and Borthwick Jackson can't even get in. I'm absolutely baffled by it. And when I say oxygen wasters, I'm talking about Phil Jones. And personally, I'm talking about Januzaj. I think he is an oxygen waster. I don't know why he deserves another chance. I do think that Januzaj could come good. I've got to go to Alex, but I do think he could come good. But he had 4 games the season before last under Van Gaal and did nothing. He had 4 games in a row last season and he did nothing. Pereira's never had 90 minutes in a Premier League game. Surely he deserves a chance. I really rate him, and I'm really worried now that he's going to end up just gone and we'll never, ever see what he could have done in a United shirt.
Yeah, I read someone saying about that Leicester want Pereira apparently, but I truly don't think he has much of a chance at United under Jose, because I think that number 10 role is going to go to Rooney. And if rumours of Mata staying are true, then I think if Rooney flops and he gets dropped, then Mata will go into that number 10. And it wouldn't be my decision, because I think Pereira is class, like he showed on that pre-season. He was never really given a proper run in the team by Van Gaal. He's got that good free kick on. I don't know if it was his debut, but whatever it was in the FA Cup. And he was in that, I think it was like the under-21 World Cup or under-22s World Cup, some weird number. And he was like the top goal scorer of Brazil and like top assists of Brazil. And I think Brazil, they either lost in the final or they won. So he can do it. It's just he needs to be given a chance. I don't think he's ready necessarily to go in the team, because we haven't seen enough of him in the starting. But I wouldn't be against, and Jose does love doing it with youngsters, he's famous for it, to loaning them out. And if we loaned him out to a Premier League team, like I wouldn't want it, but to be like to a Leicester or something in case they're good again, but maybe to a team that actually does play decent football, so he's like used to like that style of play, so maybe like a Swansea or something, and then just so he can develop in the Premier League. I'd be all in favour of that.
No, I totally agree with you. I think that's exactly what's got to happen with Pereira, and it pisses me off because Van Gaal just screwed him over. He was the standout player on the US tour, if you watched it last year, which had all the first team players in it because there was no major tournament. He was the standout player. Me and Alex watched it. We stayed up in the middle of the night watching it. It was absolutely, he was brilliant. He never got a look in. He wanted a loan move in January, and Van Gaal said, no, I'll play you. And then he never played him. I agree. He's got to get out on loan. Baron Death is saying Januzaj is a huge talent, though. Maybe he is. But I tell you what, he's a young lad who for 2 years has done sod all, and he's also been sent home from a loan. I don't think it's acceptable. I don't know whether he's got a bad attitude or not, but he's not a 25-year-old who's already got his name and is just going through a bad patch. He's wasted 2 years of development. He was decent when he played for Moyes, but he's been poor for the last 2 years. And to be honest, he'd be at the back of the queue. I'm not saying get rid of him, but he'd be at the back of the queue because he's had enough chances. And it really frustrates me because I tell you what, if we lose Pereira, I'll follow the rest of his career and I'll be absolutely amazed if he doesn't end up being a good player, because I think he is. I've seen everything that I need to see in him, and I think he's a great player in the making. And McGuinness was saying it today. And I'm just really frustrated. I really wanted him to get half an hour on Saturday at least, and he's not even part of the squad. And as for Phil Jones, I was furious with Van Gaal for giving him a place on the bench in the FA Cup when he'd not played all season, and Borthwick Jackson didn't get one. And again, Borthwick Jackson should be part of this squad. He's not part of it. Phil Jones is. I mean, I don't know what your thoughts on Phil Jones are, Alex, but for me, he's a total waste of space. Again, I don't know why people think he's a good player. And I accept that Sir Alex Ferguson made one of the biggest mistakes out of his mouth ever when he said he could be the next Duncan Edwards. I know a lot about Duncan Edwards. He couldn't be the next Gareth Edwards for Wales. He's shit. And he was decent when we bought him from Blackburn. He had a good breakout season. And ever since then, I've never seen him play well. Granted, he's been played out of position. But regardless of what you think about Phil Jones, he's injury prone. He's injury prone. I said it last night. He's got shin splints. He'll never get over it. He'll always be injured. You can't rely on him.
When we signed Smalling and Jones was always the one that had way more potential. And like you said, at Blackburn, he was really good. And I think injuries have just hampered him so much. And the Duncan Edwards thing, it was a bit of a funny comparison. But I did think he had the potential to be a really good defender, but he just hasn't really progressed on. He's degressed, if anything, since those days. And Smalling under Van Gaal did seem to kick on. I know I'm in the minority of this, but I'm still not 100% certain on Smalling, because I do worry about him for England and for United when he doesn't have a really good holding midfielder defending him. But Jose does know how to organise a defence. Like we played the really safe sideward static football under Van Gaal, but which does protect the back four. But with Mourinho, he always does do a really solid defence. So whether we sign an experienced centre back or not, then if we do sign an experienced centre back, then I think it could maybe even be Smalling drop rather than Bailly, because Jose clearly does rate Bailly if he's the one that brought him in and paid all that much money for him. And he seems to really, he said like the only thing he has doubts in his interview, said the only doubt he has over Bailly is that he hasn't stepped up to a club as big as Man United, and it's not his ability that he's questioning, it's if he can handle the pressure of at Villarreal. Yep, they're a good team, but they're not expected to like go on and win trophies and stuff. So if they lose, it isn't that big of a deal. Whereas Man United are expected to go into every single game and win, no matter who they're up against. So it's just if he can handle that pressure. But yeah, it remains to be seen. I don't think we'll sign another centre back, which I know is a topic we're going to discuss, and a lot of people just assume we are. But I think Jose just wanted those four staples, and then if someone leaves the club, like you said, like if we do sell a Phil Jones or someone, then we might look to bring in a centre back.
Yeah, it is interesting about the centre back. We'll get on to that in a moment. Dave Poulton says he's not even a Duncan Goodhue, let alone a Duncan Edwards, which is spot on. And Colin, who's Irene on the comment section, said, Mark, are you any good at football in real life? Yes, I'm very good. There's a video somewhere of me doing 100 keep-ups in my shoes and a suit off both feet. I'm very good at football. I'm not even joking. But yeah, we're going to talk about centre-back, but there are some positives from the squad as well. Fosu Mensah's in it. I can't, you know, I think Alex said it the other night. He had 2 man-of-the-match performances and didn't concede a penalty that was given, and then Van Gaal threw him under the bus like he did Varela. So I'm really excited to see him. I think Fosu Mensah can be, like Rashford, anything he wants to be in world football. I really do believe in that. And Twansibi is part of the squad as well. Sort of Rio Ferdinand-esque sort of young lad, quick, good in the air, very good positional sense. Be great to see him. I don't think Roshan Williams is part of the squad typically as well. Another one I would like to have seen part of the squad. He basically carried Phil Jones in the under-21s towards the end of the season when Phil Jones could be asked to be fit. So, but Phil Jones is an oxygen waster. He took Borthwick Jackson's FA Cup medal, and now he's taking up places in the squad. He'll stay as well because he's English. But I do agree with what Alex was sort of hinting at there. The centre-back is a problem, potentially, and Mourinho prides himself on having a very, very strong centre-back pairing, which is why I think most of us think we will sign a centre-back. If you look at what we've got at the moment, you've got Daley Blind, who I've consistently said if you want to win a title, he's not a title-winning centre-back. You've got Chris Smalling, who I've got a lot of faith in, but I have seen some little creaks in his defensive play over the last 6 months. You've got Phil Jones, who you'd be better off with a chocolate teapot. You've got Rojo, who's the Argentinian Phil Jones. You've got Bailly, who I think will be very good, but he's a young lad in a new league. He's going to have a couple of mistakes in him. I think everything points to the fact that we're crying out to buy a senior, experienced centre-back. I don't know. Alex obviously doesn't think that. I'm going to start taking some of your comments on what you think, because we've sort of touched on it a bit. Blind to centre midfield, says Noah Thompson. Shane Crossley, I still want Varane to come to Old Trafford. I think Varane's very difficult because of the Real Madrid thing, which funnily enough Alex had said a couple of days ago. Manolas is the choice for me. I don't know whether Carrick fan's on the live comments, but if he is, I thought he popped up then. If he is, it was the official devil saying Dragovic should be good, which he would. But if anybody, fuck it. Let's just say it. Carrick fan likes Ashley Williams. I've even seen some Manchester United fans say Ashley Williams. If you think Ashley Williams is a Manchester United centre-back, go and support Stoke, because he is nothing more. We want to win the league, not the League Cup. He's a mid-table at best centre-back who was playing for Wales in a poor Euros. International football is poor. But if anybody actually wants Ashley Williams to play for the club, I'll challenge you, Because have you watched him enough? Because did you watch Sweden play Wales in a friendly before the Euros where Zlatan mugged him off about 10 times in 90 minutes? And that's a fact. And he made the mistake against England as well. He is not Manchester United quality at all. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. It reminds me of a line from Sir Alex Ferguson's book when Brian Kidd was his assistant and Brian Kidd came in and said that John Hartson would be good. Sir Alex Ferguson didn't say anything. He pointed to the door and said, go and think about what you've just said and come back in 10 minutes. And he came back in 10 minutes. He said, don't know, boss. And he said, he's not a Manchester United player. There's a certain quality of player who plays for Manchester United, and that is not one. Yes, we've made mistakes over the last few years, but let's not do another Fellaini. Not Ashley Williams for me, Manolas. But I'll get Alex's thoughts.
Yeah, definitely not Ashley Williams. I don't know why it goes through so many people's heads. And another thing with Ashley Williams is he's really old. He's like 30. He's not like a young player anymore. And no, I definitely wouldn't want him. But the problem with centre-backs is, and Rio actually discussed this it was either on BT or during the World Cup, and it's so true, is that it seems like with all defenders now, and especially fullbacks, is that defending is secondary, and it's like with centre backs, like how everyone is like paying wanting John Stones like at City for like 50 odd million and stuff just because he can take the ball out from the back, and like defending is secondary. When you look at all the class centre backs from the Premier League era, when you have like John Terry, Rio Ferdinand, Tony Adams, like players like that, they all had defence as like their number one thing. Like Rio obviously was good on the ball and stuff, but he was a brilliant defender. And I just don't see that with like basically any defender really in the Premier League especially. And it's so rare in the world. Like Bonucci, the reason he's going for that much money and he's old as well is because he can actually defend. I know you have your doubts about coming into the Premier League, which he's another older player as well, but he can actually defend. But there really aren't that many defenders in world football that can actually defend. Like Ramos, we were linked with like last summer, that big saga. He's good. He like the fact that he scores so many important goals kind of shields the fact of what a liability at times he can be at defensively, and that's in a world-class team in a league that they barely concede any shots on goal. So I think Ramos, if we would have signed him at United last year and he would have been our main centre-back, I think that would have been a disaster. So I know you're a big fan of that, Manolas. I haven't seen like anything of him to judge, so I'll be quiet on that. But if we were to sign like Stones as our big marquee defender, then I would have been a bit worried.
I think I would have taken Stones, Varane or Manolas happily, because I think we need another centre-back. But when you think about it, what we need is a domineering centre-back. Lewis Clark is obviously Ashley Williams' son because he's not shut up about Ashley Williams. Ashley Williams with Smalling would be the best defensive partnership in the league. I'm not going down that road of belittling you. That's your opinion, Lewis. It's wrong. It's wrong. He's just not Manchester United quality, mate. And actually, if you think he is, go and watch some of our old videos of what we've won over the last 25, 50 years and the way we've played and the defenders we've had. Steve Bruce, Pallister, Vidic, Ferdinand, right through the last 25 years. We don't have Ashley Williams in our team, and it'd be a massive step backwards. He's average. He's average, and he was battling relegation last year. He's just not good enough. For me, it's Manolas. Manolas fits into that Pereira category for me. They may not end up having a future at Manchester United, but I'm not so arrogant as to not recognise what a good player is. And I said last night, if he goes to Arsenal or Chelsea, I wouldn't say good luck to him, but I'd say well done to them for signing him. I really think he is potentially a fantastic Premier League defender. He's won the most aerial duels in the Serie A for the last 2 seasons with the likes of Bonucci in that league. It reminds me of Vidic in that way. We need that sort of person, but he's very quick. He's very strong. I think he's around 24, 25 anyway. It'd be an absolutely brilliant signing. I'm not convinced it's going to happen because I think it's too much of a signing that I would like. But he's not signed a contract at Roma. But they reckon Arsenal and Chelsea might be ahead of us. But like Pereira's future might not be at Manchester United, but I stand by it. I think he's a very, very good player. Bayes class on FIFA 16, says Tim O'Keefe. We can all sleep easy. I'm not signing Aaron Ramsey at Prasad. I will not be having him at the club. A lot of people shouting out for Lingard. Somebody mentioned Spurs centre-backs there. I'd love Eric Dyer. I think he'd be a great. Really impressed me for England. Typically got subbed off.
I think we missed the trick last summer with not signing Alderweireld from. I can't remember. I think Atletico Madrid, because he was on loan, wasn't he, at Southampton, and then Spurs bought him. I think he's a really class centre-back. And I think Vertonghen isn't bad either, to be fair. They have a good defence, Spurs.
Somebody just said on the comments box that Dimarzio said that Pogba's staying. Unless that's come out in the last 20 minutes, I really think that's a really load of rubbish. Andrew Valente, Ashley Williams is a big, stinking, piling, steamy pile of shit. I added a few bits in there. Mark, look at Dimarzio Twitter. Okay, better to go and do that because obviously something's happened. It's the wonder of live TV. I really hope this isn't true.
People said in the comments earlier that it wasn't true, so it probably isn't, but you may as well check.
He's on about Higuain, isn't he? So there's nothing about Pogba in the last hour. Oh, I can breathe easy. Thank God for that. So, yeah, he's just on about Higuain, which is brilliant. Depay to Barcelona. I can't see that happening. Valencia is too good to go for that money. Pogba not true with Dimarzio. I don't mind being trolled when it's not true. That's fine. When it's to do with Pogba. Pogba's going to happen. Carrick fans appeared. Yes. What's he got to say? Ashley Williams is good for Swansea, not Manchester United. Hooray! Carrick fan has seen sense at last. Love Carrick fan. I hope everybody watches his videos and follows him on Twitter. Absolutely class United fan. And obviously had a great summer with the Welsh. He has said in the past, in fact, we did a video together and he said he liked Ashley Williams, but I think that's perfect. Ashley Williams is good for Swansea, not Manchester United. He is not. Happy Ricks, I'll throw this over to you, Alex, because somebody said this a couple of times. Nick Pasquet's asked about the watch-alongs for Bob. We do watch-alongs for every single game. Don't worry. Every single Man United game from now to the end of the season, pre-season, League Cup, whatever, we'll be doing a watch-along, so don't worry about that. A few people mentioning Laporte. He signed a new contract and stood up to Man City, so that won't be coming. But a few people have said, is Chris Smalling suspended for the start of the season, Alex? I'm trying to rack my brain. Was he sent off somewhere?
That's what I was just thinking. No, he scored the own goal that cost the Golden Glove in the last game.
Sent off in the FA Cup final.
Oh, yeah, then yeah, he would be. Oh, no, wait. No, he wouldn't be because doesn't the Community Shield count towards that?
Yeah, I think it does, yeah.
Oh, so Phil Jones in the Community Shield. Because it might not, but I swear if you get sent off in the Community Shield, it carries over to the Premier League. I might be wrong. So someone in the comments, I'm sure, will correct me. But yeah, I don't think he's suspended, so it'll be Bay and Jones.
We've forgotten for a moment, but it was there. It is FA Cup final, as a lot of you have said. Ahmed Malik keeps saying Arsenal fan TV going mad. Do we give a shit? Good. I'd rather be going mad.
From the start of the show till now, so I don't know.
Yeah, I thought I'd give him a shout, but I think, you know what? I never used to mind Arsenal that much, but they're such a bunch of twats on Twitter. They're the worst bunch of fans, and they're so deluded as well. I mean, somebody was arguing with somebody the other day. I think it was Billy on Twitter, that they'd won the Champions League before it was the Champions League. They've never won it, but no, can't stand Arsenal fan TV. Somebody said earlier, would you do watch-alongs or shows with fans from other channels? Yeah, we'd happily do it. But the sad thing is, most of them behind the fan channel are owned by corporate entities and they don't work with other people. So we've tried that in the past. We'll talk to anybody. There's a couple of channels we're talking about maybe getting on for shows, but most of them won't do it. Weird will behind the fan channel thing, but we're 100% independent, as you all know, and we'll talk about anything with anybody. Mark, what about Mustafi? I nearly did a joke there. I haven't seen, you know what, when I've seen a lot of somebody else say something, when I haven't seen a lot of him to give enough comment, and I've not heard that we're after him anyway, so he's not somebody I would go and research, but it would be Manolas for me. I mean, I suppose, Alex, we've dissed Williams, you don't want Stones, you don't know anything about Manolas.
I just actually gave Sound of Silence, I think it was, in the comment section, gave a good shout out, was Godin from Atletico Madrid, and he can actually defend, so. At the same time, it's like with the Griezmann stuff, it's like, I know Man United are obviously a bigger club than Atletico, but I think they have such a team mentality like Leicester did with this, that they just want to win the Champions League so bad, and they've come so close twice. It's just so heartbreaking that they keep losing in the final, but I think it's going to be so hard to take any Atletico player, I think.
Yes, Griezmann would be great. I think his buyout clause has gone up to 80 million now. It was 53. But the players love Simeone there. You've got to applaud them for what they do. They keep hold of their best players. They keep going every year. They deserve a Champions League, to be fair. And I hope they do it. That's Aiden Gamer says Ashley Williams is phenomenally average. A few of you saying about Pogba, it's going to happen. We've been saying it for over a week now. It is going to happen. A few of you saying, when is it going to happen? I would say it'll be done by Monday. I think I've already said that. And I'm confident that will happen. And once that's happened, we'll have to just wait and see. But I think we're in for an exciting few days. We'll do a show again tomorrow at 8:30. But obviously, I'm waiting on Fantasy Premier League to start, because as soon as that goes up, we'll do a video about that. And obviously the watch along on Saturday. Can't wait for that. Really excited that we are doing a watch along already and getting to see some of the fringe players. I'm really excited about. Well, actually, I'll ask Alex that. If there's one player you're really excited about seeing on Saturday, who would it be? I think I know who it will be.
Oh, Mkhitaryan on Saturday, yeah. But for who did you think it was going to be? Oh, no,
I'm going to say Memphis, actually.
Tell a lie, it won't be Mkhitaryan, actually. If he does start, it'll be Luke Shaw, who I'm most excited about.
Yeah.
Mkhitaryan and Memphis.
Somebody just said, will we do a video about how crap Liverpool are? Well, I was thinking about doing a 24-hour sponsored broadcast, wasn't I? But that wouldn't be long enough to talk about how crap Liverpool are. So we'll see. But Mkhitaryan, I think we'll see a bit of him. Obviously, that's really exciting. But I'm not one of them fans who just gets mad about transfers, although I'm really excited about him. I'm really looking forward to seeing Luke Shaw. I'm really, really looking forward to see the likes of Herrera, Fosu Mensah, Memphis. With James Wilson, hopefully, will play. I want to see those sort of players, because we don't need to go out and sign loads of players. We've got players in our squad who are good enough. They were just misused by Van Gaal, and I want to see them succeed at Manchester United, because we've said Luke Shaw's like a new signing because he was injured. But I think the likes of Herrera, Schneidlin, Memphis, they can be like new signings as well, because they can be used properly. So that's what I'm excited about. But loads to be excited about. And I do think Pogba will happen. Nick's saying, when's the new shirt coming out? I would predict it's going to be after the Chinese tour. We might use it for the Galatasaray game. But I remember last season, I'm sure it was August the 1st. Because we were all talking about we're not going to sign anybody till August the 1st because it was going to be changed from Nike to Adidas. So I think it'll be around August the 1st. But thanks for coming on, Alex. Anything you want to say before you go?
No, thanks for having me on. And just once again, thank you to everyone who watches for finally hitting 30,000 subscribers. It's a great achievement. And we hit over 1,000 people watching live again. So it's brilliant, and looking really forward to Saturday.
Yeah. Amazed that we've hit 30,000. To do it on air is absolutely brilliant. I did promise that there will be a prize. There will be, and it will be on Saturday before the show, before the watch along. We will do that then. Please drop us a like. It's your video as much as it is ours. And obviously it'd be great to get 1,000 likes on the 30,000 video. But really, really brilliant, that is. Loads going on with the club. Really enjoyed the topics we discussed tonight. There's always so much to talk about. And I really do think Pogba will be signed by Monday. We'll just have to wait and see. A lot of you saying congratulations on the 30,000. I just want to applaud you and say congratulations to you, because if you don't watch, we don't get that amount of numbers and make it as enjoyable as it is. People asking what time we're going to go live on Sunday. Well, we'll be live tomorrow night at 8:30 again, but I would imagine on Sunday it's a 1:30 kickoff. So we'll definitely be live by 1 o'clock, maybe a little bit before that. But Jordan Coffrey saying, don't go, Mark. I've got to go. We've got to go. We've got to go and sort some other stuff out. But yeah, we'll finish on a positive. 30,000 subscribers. Brilliant. Absolutely amazed. And we go again. And thank you to all of you lot. And I'll see you tomorrow night. Cheers.